Hey everyone, welcome to this weekend Sidereal Astrology forecast. So this weekend we are in the first quarter phase of the lunar cycle, which means perhaps a much more active time, or a weekend of challenging ourselves, maybe with the insights we had last weekend. Last weekend we had that new moon, new beginnings likely coming into our life. So this weekend perhaps implementing them, challenging ourselves with them, and maybe taking some initiations there. The moon is going to be in Aries on Friday and the first half of Saturday, so definitely coming into a much more active part of the sky with the constellations, coming from Pisces, which was very deep, very watery, very intuitive these past few days of the week. So definitely a shift there, perhaps more active, independent, that sort of thing. Then as we shift into the second half of Saturday and into Sunday, more of the reserve, we enter Taurus. So we have two grounded energies. We have the sun in Capricorn, which is still helping us see things from that big picture, take things nice and slow. There's a good structural energy and reserve to the way we're focused on things and expressing ourselves. And then when the moon joins Taurus, a good support with not only that from a conscious level, but then also on an emotional level. You know, the moon's the feeling, so perhaps feeling quite grounded, resourceful, maybe even luxurious, like enjoying the simple pleasures of life. We do have Jupiter going a station retrograde on Monday, so on Sunday we'll likely feel this bit of slowing down with the things we've been seeing in the big picture, maybe our belief systems and hopes and wishes. All right, so let's go and look at this in more detail. All right, so here we have it. The moon in Aries on Friday will definitely be well set into Aries, in fact. Let me go ahead and just move this back. All right, so there it is. Moon in Aries on Friday. Definitely more of the independent energy coming out of what has been a very watery, very receptive, intuitive energy, which still is very much the case. You know, we still do have Venus here, Mars here. So with Venus, maybe connecting to relationships in that way of accepting, compassion, understanding. This is actually very good qualities for Venus. Maybe even enjoying things in a more receptive way still. Mars is, of course, still here, will be for some time. So this is about getting things done with intuition, with listening, with a much more receptive approach also. But in terms of the theme of the day, in terms of our emotional body, things definitely shifting into a much more active time. Maybe just feeling it, feeling quite direct, feeling quite independent, and maybe even active as well, which is a great way of working with this weekend. Again, the first quarter phase, really good time to initiate, take steps and actions towards whatever those insights were from last weekend. And of course, the sun in Capricorn, yes, very reserved at the moment. Very good for seeing the big picture, creating structures in our life, and a bit of discipline can really go a long ways. So here's the aspects for Friday and this weekend, in fact. As you can see here, a bunch of lunar aspects. We don't have any major aspects going on this weekend. On Friday, perhaps a bit of easygoingness. Not a whole lot going on astrologically, but a sextile up to Neptune can create a sort of opening for maybe some rest, relaxation, maybe a more willingness to go with the flow, be receptive, all that same Pisces energy, but in a much more active sense. And maybe just feeling like, yes, we can relax, we're more willing to let go, detach, and that can create perhaps an easygoing day. Oftentimes with the sextiles, it is more of our choice, but it's certainly available on Friday. Then as we go into Saturday with the moon still in Aries, the first half with that independent energy, we do have the moon trining up to this Mercury-Pluto conjunction. And this is important because, this earlier, well, let's say this work week, right, we had Mercury in that T-square. So this whole weekend, we are starting to feel this sort of easing up of what may have been a bit of a clunkiness or, with the routine, or maybe a bit of irritability, maybe things clashing with our beliefs, maybe erratic energy, something like that. Our minds have really been going through a test. And our routine has really been going through a test last week, during the work week. So that's easing up, right? And I think we'll definitely start to feel that from Saturday once the moon actually trines up to that conjunction, really easing things up there a bit. So again, things involving the routine or thinking, communication, all of that can go quite well on Saturday. Reading books, writing, anything that does require that inquisitive nature, even diving deep with things. A trine up to Pluto can be great for intimacy, openness, even research if it's using the mind, and anything else that does involve piercing the veil of matters. And that is when we actually officially enter the first quarter phase of the lunar cycle. So again, a good time to really bring in a bit of that initiative, intention and active energy this weekend towards whatever it is you might be cultivating. Again, maybe think back to last weekend. All right, and then as we get into the second half of Saturday, definitely Taurus, and that'll be the theme on Sunday as well. Really accessing, again, 2 earth signs. We've got the sun in Capricorn, the moon in Taurus. So definitely more on the, probably wanting to take things nice and slow and steady, quite grounded. Usually with Taurus, maybe wanting to enjoy the simple pleasures of life, relaxation, a good meal perhaps, maybe going for a walk, connecting to nature, really invoking the senses there. And maybe just approaching things in a slow and steady way, stopping to smell the roses, and just staying nice and stable there. So that's going to be the theme on Sunday. But Sunday, we are going to start to feel the slowing down and probably re-examination of our beliefs. That's the Jupiter retrograde, which will be on Monday. So Jupiter, the planet of our beliefs, the planet of our hopes, wishes, and dreams. Anything that is about the future that we want to attract to us, or we want to cultivate and expand in our life, is now going through a re-examination. So for about the next 4 months, it's a good time to start to do that, to start to see if there was some big picture ideas that maybe you've had since last year, possibilities, potentials, hopes, wishes, even accessing a bit of that adventurous spirit for life, the life path. Starting to re-examine the life path, re-examine our belief systems, re-examine perhaps quite literally some of these potentials here. So it is good to do that. I think that's going to be mostly next week once Jupiter starts to gain that momentum retrograde, but we will likely see this pause starting to come into the picture on Sunday, and a good time to just sort of maybe take a step back with some of those ideals and things, and then start to re-examine them, reconsider them, and maybe even too, quite literally, start to rework them in our lives if it is something in particular. All right, so that is the weekend in a nutshell. On Sunday, though, the moon will be sextiling up to Venus and Mars. So again, with maybe relationships and a bit of that active energy, an opening for that, maybe enjoying things on that Piscean level of receptivity again. Easygoingness could come easy perhaps on Sunday. But the moon does square Neptune. So as we get into the second half, maybe feeling a bit like it does take a bit of having to initiate things to relax. Maybe things like meditation, or going to bed early or something like that, to maybe again initiate some more receptive and spiritual quality in our life. Could be a good way of working with it. I don't think it's going to be a major thing, but maybe something to consider there over the nighttime on Sunday. All right, so that is the weekend. Definitely Aries on Friday, coming out of a very watery time from the work week. Maybe even clunky time with the mind or perspectives and all that, just a sort of clash there. That is easing up this weekend as we get into the second half of Saturday and Sunday, going from then the active to very grounded, resourceful, taking things nice, slow, and steady, which again is all part of this whole lunar cycle of seeing the structures in our life, seeing where we can take a slow and steady approach to the things we want to cultivate. All right, so I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all on Monday.